The Nikon D850 has been my mainstay stills camera for the last 6 years. The Nikon D850 is the latest camera that I have from a long lineup of Nikon cameras. But even before Nikon, I was shooting on Sony. Way back when, like 20 years ago, we were shooting on the Sony. It was an all-in-one. It was great for capturing stuff with friends and family. Shot it all the time. Not great photos, great memories though, capturing great memories. But once I met a few people and they were interested in scaling up and doing wedding photography, I needed to upgrade my equipment into a Nikon D80. The Nikon D80 was not good in low light back in the day, so any of the darkly lit churches that we had to work in had very grainy photos. They were fine for what it was, but at that time, it was just absolutely trash. And I had it paired with an 18 to 200 millimeter 3.5 to 5.6. So trying to shoot this scene in a church at 200 millimeters with bad ISO, it was trash. So we upgraded out of that one as soon as possible. So we did a season with that. Once we upgraded out of that one, we moved into the D700, which was the camera for low light. It was great. I loved the D700. And I waited and I used that one for years, waiting for the D750 or the replacement for the D700 to come out, but it just didn't. And I went back to school. And school required that I needed video, and the 700 didn't really do video, so I sold that and moved into a set of D600s. So it's technically a lower trim level of camera, slightly, but it had the option for video for the school projects that we needed to do. And they were great. The frame rates were slow, like the burst speed was slow, so that was kind of a frustration having those ones. Moved up into the 610 because the 600s were actually plagued with a lot of issues. So the D600s were plagued with a lot of issues, and I think one of the issues was premature shutter failure, a lot of firmware issues that were uncorrectable, or I don't really remember, but I believe there was a 600 recall. So I ended up getting the D610s, which was a direct upgrade from it with the new shutter and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't stick with those for too long because finally, the camera came out that I'd been waiting for forever. The D750. Now this is probably my favorite camera, my favorite upgrade from the 600s. My favorite upgrade from the D700 was actually the D750. It was the right size, it felt good in the hands, it did everything I needed it to do. At a good frame rate and a good megapixel rating. That was my favorite camera until the D850 came out. This flagship camera is arguably one of the best cameras that I've ever used. I've used Sonys, I've used Canons, I've used the Blackmagic that I'm shooting this on right now. Clearly not a photos camera, but this one has been with me for the last 6 years, and I haven't been able to find a replacement. Which is why I want to go back and show you, or talk to you about why I chose this one. And I've been choosing this one for the last 6 years. So the main reasons that I wanted it back in the day was just the megapixel was great. It was high megapixel and clean ISO. Very clean images, even up into the high ISO. We can shoot in really bad lighting conditions and dark lighting conditions and still get a usable image. Back in that day, I was a photographer for a fashion company, and I wanted to upgrade our equipment, but they would not put a budget together to get a better camera. And I didn't want to keep using my own cameras, so we just kept using the Canons that we had there. I think they were Mark IIs or Mark IIIs or whatever they were. They were fine for studio, but as soon as we're out on location doing any of the production stuff, any of the large scale photos and for print media, for the website, for advertising, this camera just couldn't keep up. It would just we'd always have to have perfect lighting for them to work, which was fine. But at the speed at which they wanted images created, this tool would allow us to produce at the level they were expecting. And they were letting us use tools that were just not allowing us to do that. So I put my own money together, bought my own camera, brought it on set, shot it side by side. Canon here, broke it all down in timelines. I broke it down because this one is 45 megapixel. The Canon was like 22 or 21 or something around there. The speed of the cards versus uploading, on that one. Ease of use for the dynamic range on this one. I did this huge comparison for the boss of the president of the company to really show that this will achieve the goals that they're looking for in a faster rate, even though they're going to have to spend a lot of money up front to do it. And that was a several month battle. But I finally got approval to buy 2 of these, a bunch of new lights, a bunch of new stands, a whole support system for the Nikon system where the lenses, 2 24-70s, a 7200, the wide lens, all the XQD cards that were $250 a piece for 32 gigs. Yeah, insane. $2,000 in just memory cards. Yeah, so the full budget. We also were able to upgrade the video gear at the same time, which was great. So I think the total came to around like $100,000 upgrade. So the whole studio got new lights, photo and video lights, so strobes and continuous, which was amazing. We got 2 Nikon D850s, a little Osmo gimbal, FS7s, I think. We got 2 of those, or 1 of those. Another reason that we went with this camera, or that I went with this camera, was the form factor. It's small enough, even though it's a big camera. It's not the professional cameras of the D9s or the what other ones, the D1s or whatever they were, like the single-digit Nikon ones, the ones that are the professional line with the 500,000 shutter lifespans and those kind of stuff. They're just too big for me. And for the stuff that I'm doing, I don't need the insane frame rate that it has, like the 12 FPS to the 20 FPS that it has. This one being at 5 to 7 variable is good. I don't shoot sports, so there was never the reason to shoot it, especially when I'm shooting with strobes. Strobes have a cycle rate, so I'm never really full out using these at the 7 FPS anyways. So just for my workflow, having a body that was smaller to take on adventures, to take to the event photography that we had to do tons of through that company. Lots of fashion shows, lots of traveling, so down to LA, down to New York, overseas, and having a lighter camera was ideal because you'd be carrying this thing for like 10 hours a day. Just absolutely brutal. Like even as light as it is, carrying this all day is exhausting. Video guys out there, I know I also shoot video. Carrying a gimbal all day is also a disaster. Carrying the FS7, carrying our Blackmagic 12K all day is brutal. So you guys do understand. Light form factor is great, and I really like where the technology is going into smaller form factors. Everything's just lighter and amazing. So even the mirrorless one of this one is not significantly lighter. I think it's about the same weight actually. And the mirrorless one that I would go for would probably be the D9. If you follow me, this is our newest D850. The last one that I had that sparked all these long-term reviews made it to 550,000 shutter clicks on a shutter that was rated for 250,000, but it finally broke. So that one's out for repair. This is a new replacement. I couldn't think of any other camera that I'd want to have to replace it, so I just got the same one. So technically this is my 4th D850, The last one we had for the entire duration of the last 6 years. I've had 2 for the fashion company, and mine is the third. I also had a secondary D850 before, but during COVID, I sold one of them just because, I mean, I got $4,000 for it, so that helped me float through the pandemic. I sold one of the lenses. I sold the whole second kit. So I sold the 2470, I sold the D850, I sold the second 70 to 200. So now we minimized the kit to get through the pandemic, and now we're getting back up there with this will be the secondary, and the main camera that's out to get repaired with the 550,000 shutter is getting a new shutter put in. It's good for another 250,000 or 500,000 even, and then I'll have 2 cameras again. It'll be great. So let's sum it up. Great megapixel, great on high ISO, signal to noise is very good. It has great dynamic range. I like shooting this at ISO 64, which is its base ISO. It's great for studio, it's great for portraiture, it's great for shooting weddings. I don't shoot at 45 megapixel for weddings. Having the ability to have full raw capabilities on any one of the 3 sizes, because I know a couple cameras out there, if you scale down on your resolution, you don't get a true raw file out of it. It's raw-ish. So this one, at 45 megapixel, 25 megapixel, and 11 megapixel, you still get the full dynamic range of your raw file, but it's just in a nice small compact file. So I shoot 25 megapixel raw for weddings, I shoot 45 megapixel raw for headshots and portraiture. Inventory items that need quick turnarounds, I'll shoot them at 11 megapixel just for the speed of use on Lightroom and that workflow. Uploading is instant up to our server because the files are just so small, and the file delivery is only 500 kilobits, so scaling a 45 megapixel down to 500 kilobits, it just takes a little longer on the computer. So starting with a smaller file, editing a nice raw file through the custom presets that I've created, and delivering them out is great. So that is a thing that I didn't know I liked before having that feature on this camera. The video on this camera, it's fine. It's good as a C cam or like a backup cam. It's great for just capturing, putting it up and rolling for 30 minutes or 29 minutes and 59 seconds at a time. I've never had an issue with overheating when I've been filming with this camera as a C camera, just setting it up and just restarting it between people's speeches, setting up between different venues and whatnot, just having it roll, long roll on usually the 70-200, which is great. The audio capture is actually good. It's got audio levels like this one does. So those are the main reasons why I've kept going on with the Nikon D850. I don't know what camera I would get to replace this. We've done a ton of research. We've checked out all the other cameras. This has become irreplaceable for me in my workflow. So the day that the other one died, at its 550,000 shutter clicks, I just went and got an identical camera because we'd already done the research, and this was the decision we landed on, was getting an identical D850 because there was no replacement. There was no suitable replacement that was enough of an upgrade to justify the jump in cost. The D9 would be cool to have, but at double the price, it's not really worth it. And then I needed a lens adapter, and then the lenses are not quite what suit that camera, and then it's really heavy. Just, yeah. Maybe in the next, maybe when this one dies, we'll look at getting a D9 or 10 or an 11, whatever is available. So that's all I have for you today. I'm gonna do a little more storytelling in the future with different photo shoots that I've done with the lifespan of this camera, because there's been some cool ones. We've gone to the Dominican, we've gone to LA, we've gone to the Philippines, I think was this one, Europe, BC, been across Canada many times with the D850. It is a world traveled camera. So there's been some really cool shoots that I want to show you and talk about the fun we had as well as the struggles that we had with it, and why this camera always has been the right camera for me. So that's it. I'm Trevor with Unreel Creative. We'll see you next time. Bye.